Hello everyone and welcome to my Spookathon TBR. So basically I wanted to do a readathon because I haven't done one in a while and I always really enjoy them when I do them, and obviously because it is October I wanted to do a scary, spooky themed one, so obviously the Spookathon just fitted all of those bills. So this year it runs from the 16th till the 22nd of October. I will leave a link to the official Twitter page for Spookathon in the description down below so you can see where you can join in with the readathon and all of the bookish fun and all of that kind of stuff. So as you guys might know, if you saw my TBR video for this month, I am trying to exclusively read Stephen King books for the month of October, and I'm really happy that Spookathon has actually allowed me to be able to continue doing that. So all of the books in this TBR are by Stephen King. Some of them were on my monthly TBR anyway, so obviously I'm just letting you guys know that I will be also reading those books for Spookathon. So the first challenge of Spookathon is to read a thriller, and for that challenge I'm going to read Gerald's Game by Stephen King. I don't know too much about this story. It's not one I've read before. All I know is that I think it is about a couple who go to a secluded cabin in the woods with the intention of spicing up their sex life, and they start engaging in a pretty hardcore S&M game, and the husband dies tragically and the wife is just left handcuffed to this bed in this secluded cabin and in the woods, and I'm assuming that some scary stuff starts happening. I think it is more thriller than horror because I think it's more of like a psychological thing that happens to her rather than a supernatural violent thing. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm really excited about reading it because I know that there is a new Netflix either film or TV series adaptation of this around at the moment that a lot of people have been praising, so obviously when I have read this book I will be watching that just to see obviously which one I prefer. So yeah, really excited about this one. The next challenge of a Spookathon is to read a book with a spooky word in the cover, and for that I'm going to read The Dead Zone by Stephen King, the spooky word obviously being dead. All I know about this story is I think it is about a guy who wakes up from a coma after years and discovers that he has the power to see people's past and futures when he touches them, and a lot of people kind of see this as a blessing and they go to him thinking that he's like some kind of deity or whatever, but he kind of sees it as a curse because he has seen that eventually his wife will meet somebody else and stuff like that. And I think that when he shakes hands with a politician he sees something terrible and corrupt in the future, and he has to basically decide how he's going to stop this from happening. Sounds really, really good and a little bit different to what I'm used to from Stephen King, so yeah, really excited for this one too. The next challenge is to read a book based on a childhood fear, and for that I'm going to read Nightmares and Dreamscapes, also by Stephen King. This was also on my monthly TBR, and basically I had really bad nightmares when I was a kid. I still have the occasional really bad nightmares, and this is a collection of short stories and I think they are all horror short stories, so that's pretty much all I know. So yeah, really, really excited about this one. The next challenge is to simply read a book with orange on the cover, and for that I'm going to read The Gunslinger by Stephen King. This was also on my monthly TBR for this month, and as you can see there's quite a lot of orange on the cover of this book. This is the first book in his Dark Tower fantasy series. I don't know too much about this series other than a lot of people really, really love it. I've heard that it has some Lord of the Rings comparisons to it, so yeah, really, really looking forward to getting into this series. And the last challenge of a Spookathon is to read a book with a spooky setting, and for that I'm going to be rereading The Shining by Stephen King, and it's been years since I read this book. I've only read it once and it was one of the first Stephen King books that I read that I really seriously loved, so I'm really, really looking forward to rereading it. If you don't know, a quick summary of the plot of this book is this is about a guy who gets a job as a caretaker in a hotel. He needs to look after it over the winter just to basically keep things ticking over because it gets really, really cold where this hotel is, and he takes his wife and his young son. His young son has a supernatural power called The Shining, which I'm not going to talk too much about because I don't want to ruin it, and this hotel is crazy full of madness and ghosts and scary stuff, and it sends him insane basically, and it's just a really, really great classic horror story that I'm really excited to be rereading, so yeah. And that is it for my Spookathon TBR. Do you think you might want to join in? Please let me know, and please let me know what you plan to read for it. I will leave all of my social media in the description down below. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye bye!